morning and welcome to another exciting morning on Good Morning, my people. As usual, I'm Hassan, I'm Reginald, and I'm here with our lovely ambassador, Mandy. Mandy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. See, I'm wearing a beautiful smile this morning. That smile is meant to heal somebody or to encourage somebody this morning. A God morning to all of you listeners and viewers out there.
So yesterday we started our series on Joseph, and we told you that this whole week will be about the story of Joseph. And to recap on what we talked about yesterday, we said that you can only achieve your vision if you help others achieve their missions. You see, a vision is comprised of missions, just like a battle is comprised of wars. You win wars on different fronts. So is your vision broken down into missions. So as you help others accomplish their missions, not their vision, you can only help somebody accomplish some mission in their vision, and visions are divided into missions. So as you help people complete some missions in their vision, you are actually getting closer to your vision. So if you want to fold your hands and think that it's okay, that you don't need to help anybody, you don't want to exhaust your energy helping anybody, then you just stay there, die and rot, and not even achieve your own vision. And the story of Joseph is a typical example. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it is he was blackmailed. Even for doing the right thing, he went to jail. But you see, every single obstacle that comes on your way in any mission to achieve your vision is actually a training and a preparation to where God is taking you to. So do not take challenges. Last week when we were talking about purpose, we asked you never ever run away from the problems on your way to your vision or on your way to achieve your goals, because success and your next level is buried in your next trouble. Remember, your next level is buried in your next trouble. So if you run away from that trouble or that problem or that challenge, whatever you choose to call it, then you might just miss your next level. The Bible said as long as you live on these planets, there are few things that the Bible talked about like that. It talks about seed time and harvest time will never cease. But it also says something, as long as you are in this life, troubles and tribulations. That means if you want to describe tribulation, it means trouble where they for bag. Collection of trouble is called tribulation. That's my definition. Don't bother verifying from the dictionary. But tribulation is a collection of trouble, palava, that as long as you live on this earth, they will come. Just like you plant a seed, it will surely harvest time. Troubles will come, but it did not end there. That's the good part. The B part said, but be of good cheer because he has overcome the world. But for those of you that are not born again, I don't know if the B part applies to you. Because yes, you can go through your troubles and come out of it even if you're not born again. But those who are born again can have it easier because they're encapsulated in the promise of be of good cheer, because he, talking about Jesus Christ, has overcome the world. And you see, when you follow a leader, why do people follow leaders that have gone through trouble? A lot of people followed Obasanjo because he's been in prison and out. A lot of people trusted the integrity of Mandela because he went to prison for many years and did not lose his cool and did not lose his humanity, his niceness. It did not change him. The apartheid government threw all sorts of stuff at him, but he never became a bitter person. That means he's been trusted. For someone like Mandela, he was like another Joseph. He went through tribulations, but at the end of the day, a typical, this modern day example of our Joseph. He came out and forgave and called for reconciliation, was never bitter. In fact, the first person he went to see when he got out was the same person who imprisoned him.
He said forgiveness is the best weapon ever. That's what he said.
But a lot of you, somebody just step on your leg. All the colors and rainbows of thunder that you will call to fire that person, just for stepping on your leg.
Family.
And some people by default on their lips are curses. They are just waiting for who to leash it on. And sometimes when they don't have anybody, they just look for trouble because it is heavy in their mouth. They've carried it and it's about to sour in their mouth. And they need to give it to somebody.
When some of them wake up in the morning and you say good morning, they go, what's good about the morning? What's good about the morning? And you go,
it
okay,
didn't start from
take
them.
Control.
It's been boiling in their
they've been
system.
building up that hatred and that anger.
And don't take it personal. It was not meant for you. It was just meant for anybody to see that morning. So if somebody comes out, we just say God bless it to each. Last week we talked about 2 countries that were at war. When they had a fence dividing the 2 countries, one was throwing all the garbage into the second country, while this other second country was throwing flowers and food to the second country. Then they now sent a note attached to it to what each have, that's what they give. That means the other country is full of shit and trash, so that's what they are giving. But they are filled with love and kindness and goodness, so they are sending their goodness. And once you meet people, what are you radiating?
What are you serving?
Joseph did not get bitter because he was thrown in prison for what he did not do. Rather, he put himself to work. He gave his best wherever he is. I've seen people, employees, colleagues who will do things and they are bitter and they say, this is not what I was employed to do. Whatever you find yourself to do it as unto the Lord. Yes, you know the worst thing that can happen to anybody is not to do well a job that you are overqualified to do. You are supposed to be a manager and you're given the job of a messenger and you can't even do it well. Imagine a university graduate giving a primary school mathematics test and he said, no, I'm too much for this here, but yet he can't solve it. So if you're given something less, then you should easily trash it and then move on. So don't say you are employed to do something higher or God has called you for something higher and you ignore the little things. The Bible said, despise not the days of little beginnings.
I think people feel that you're undermining them when it comes to their aspects. If they're overqualified or if they studied something, whatever, and then they find, most times they study something and then they choose the wrong career circumstantially because they find that they don't have the heart's desired job, and then they find themselves in any job. More often than none, I speak to people and they say, can you find me a job? And I go, what type of job that you want? Because God is a God of specific. You're not going to ask him for a job as a manager and he's going to give you a job as a cleaner. That's not how God does his things. Then they find themselves, they ask for anything, and then when you give them anything, then they can't even handle the anything. That's why when Joseph excelled in any single thing he did. Anywhere you put him in the hole, he survived it. Put him in the palace,
and
he survived it.
There was even a record that he was good at everything they gave him in prison, that they made him head over prisoners.
Can you
Everywhere he went, because of his excellence, he was always on top. Within a short time.
Always on top. And
so if you cannot conquer your prison, you will never get to the palace. Remember, if you cannot conquer the prison, you can never take over the palace. So what is your prison today? Have you conquered it? So wake up today and start to conquer your prison. Start to conquer where you are. Last week we said something profound, and we said that until you learn to do what you need to do, you might never get to do what you want to do.
Yes, because you're in your job space and you can't even understand and handle your job properly. How are you going to get to your workplace and be comfortable at your workplace?
If you don't like where you are now, do it so well that to push you quickly to what you want to do. Some of you have ideas of starting your own business. Beautiful, but it needs a lot of money and training and competence. So why not do what you need to do to raise the money? Why not need to do what you need to do to raise the competence and the trust
and
to now build the business you want so that you can now do what you want to do. So until you do what you need to do, you will never have the opportunity to do what you want to do. I was talking with one of my daughters one of the days, and I told her, yes, you don't like to do what you are asked to do. Why not do it so well that someday you'll be doing what you want to do? Yes, you might not like the job you're a teacher today, you want to do something else, but until you do that thing well, how will you put food on your table? And peradventure you have children and you have a family, how will you put food on their table until you get that thing you want to do? So why not hold the one you have well, to do it well, just like the story of the talents. So that by the time it is checked, you can now be faithful in more. So let where you are be the little, be faithful in it, do it so well. You don't know who is watching. I can't remember who told me a story about a banker who had an altercation with a customer, and he said if not for job he won't be here today, that he actually studied petrochemical, he's a petrochemical engineer. And the customer said, that's how you people make mouth, bring your certificate, let me see. Petrochemical engineer called petrochemical engineer need. The guy felt insulted, but all the same he was leaving for work the next morning. I just said, let me carry a photocopy of my certificate just in case that mumu just shows up in the office today to challenge me. And he went with his certificate, and lo and behold, just midday when he thought had forgotten all about it, the young man showed up and said, Mr. Braga, show me your certificate, show me your petrochemical certificate. He brought out his list, and the guy was, wow, it's actually true, you're a petrochemical engineer, and guess what, we're looking for someone in our establishment, please can you join me to go see my boss? And they went saw his boss, and that was his last day in that office as a banker. From the next week, he was working as a petrochemical engineer. But if that man did not trust that he was doing his work well in the bank, even though he felt insulted by maybe altercations, that God also brings like troubles to elevate you, he would have still been working in the bank and grumbling. Imagine if he was even sad and never even bothered to mention to anybody, and is busy quarreling and with God like a housewife. I mean, as per housewife rivalry. And somebody will look, he will just be inside in his mind and say, God, see what the kind of insult you have brought me here to do. If you had gotten me a job in a petrochemical company, I won't be here now taking all this kind of insult and sulking. He won't have gotten that opportunity.
Evidence silences arguments. Oh God. So
we need to wake up, learn from the story of Joseph. Everybody can't be your friend. A recap of part of yesterday is that sometimes the people around you might not believe in your vision. And remember, most of the time, a prophet is not honored in his motherland.
Yes.
The same thing, some dreams and visions are not even understood by our closest relatives. But then even you are the relative of somebody that has a dream. What seed are you sowing? Even when you don't understand, do you encourage them? Because you cannot get what you can't give. So keep sowing an encouragement to somebody that has a dream around you. And somebody somewhere will be there too to encourage you. Or are you going to be that the brothers of Joseph sell you the dreamers in your family?
Okay, I just have this dreamer. You can just have him. Give me a little bit of money and take him. We don't need him. He's of no use to us.
And that's what they did. There's an Igbo saying that says that when you kill your strong man in the internal fight in the house, when the external fight comes, what will you now do? When you people gang up and kill your strong man or your visioner or your dreamer because he's talking too much or he's making noise too much or he's bullying everybody too much, and you all gang up and kill him, when the outside fight comes that he is good at, who will then fight for you?
That's a good question.
It's a very, very popular Igbo saying.
That's a very good question.
And I was to tell you, we had a story recently on the media tabloid of two children that connived. This has happened more than once. Two girls in Delta State killed their mother and their father, and this thing was they don't give them enough money. That they are very rich and they don't give them enough money, and they had to plan with their two boyfriends to kill their parents, that they are wicked to them. Not knowing that, yeah, these are your inheritance, you'll get it someday, but they're teaching them how to plan and manage it. Two boys too, the same thing in the north, in Kaduna to be precise, ganged up and killed their father.
Whoa.
So these are when people are desperate. The devil uses all sorts of things and discourage them. Now they're going to live the rest of their life in jail, and the inheritance they're supposed to have will go to a stranger. Even the Bible said that when two brothers fight, their inheritance will be taken by their servants.
Serious matter. Let's, I think there's so many lessons that we can learn from all of this. And one of them is the fact that there are ancestral curses that come to play. These things exist. Sometimes in our lives and stuff, like in the typical life of Joseph, sometimes we find that we are getting punished and we are paying for things that we know not about. Things that parents, forefathers and stuff, a covenant that they have made.
Because he even said that he's going to visit you to the third and fourth generation with the covenant and the sins of the fourth and the fifth generation. That means some of this go down to DNA, they go down to causes of generational causes and commitments. But you can also break that today. You can also create a new line for yourself. And you can only do that if you can connect with Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Because then he said that all things have passed away and all things have become new. You now begin to walk in a new reality and a new covenant.
And God shows up. Always look for that. Always look for the signs. Always look, because he said he daily loads us with benefits. That no matter the trials and the tribulations that you go through, Joseph could have just laid in that hole when they took him. You know what was just playing on my mind now as you were speaking? That they took the coat off of his body, but the colors remained inside of him. Those colors, those beautiful bright colors remained inside him. He could have laid there and said, oh yeah, kisera sera, but he didn't. He didn't. Even when they came and they arrested him and they took him into Egypt, he went in with Christ. He didn't say, I'm leaving, the garment is gone off of me, and then I'm going to leave it where it is or whatever, I'm forgetting about it. He took the will. He took the relationship, and he had that courage and he held that boldness that God got his back. No matter where he was, God got his back. So please, we need to be very, very mindful, and we need to always, no matter the situation that you find yourself in, always just ask yourself, what would God do in this kind of a situation? And the Bible rightfully tells us that he lives inside of us. And he said that that he that is in you is greater than he that's in the world.
Yes.
So no matter what is thrown at you, no matter where you find yourself, no matter what, is it pleasant? No. Can it be difficult? Oh,
definitely.
Absolutely, yes. And we're not saying to you that you should forget about it. And we're never saying, and even the Bible never said that these challenges are not going to come about. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that we will not experience challenges. But that's why it's important to go back, look for the signs, look for people that have gone through certain situations, and you can be able to learn from those. Look for spiritual mentors, people that can equally guide you through that process, because every single thing is a process. You know, if Jesus wanted things to be different, you know, when they crucified him, he offered himself. He said, take me. Do you understand? He could have said, I'm the report on the Messiah, nobody can touch me, I'm untouchable. If they try, he could have smitten them all. But he didn't. He did it for our sake, because he knew that it's a process to teach us how to understand the process, how to understand. I mean, he was nailed on the cross. Can you imagine all that pain and all of that? But the pain was for our gain. And that alone is just word enough to be able to encourage us. That's word enough for us to get excited, to ignite our spirits, to be able to withstand any possible negative situation that we go through in life.
Don't go anywhere. Good morning, Nigeria. We'll be back after this time out. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you're still there. This is Good Morning Nigeria. Good morning, my people. And we're talking on the story of Joseph. Very exciting story. Looks so simple on the outside, but yet very deep life lessons on the inside.
Juicy stories.
Yes.
Reliable stories. Exciting stories. We're so excited about
Don't also go too far. We have our own Joseph stories not far away in Mandela. Because I get a lot of times people do things and then they tell you, no, I was under pressure. It is not me. Well, I just tell them something small and I said, when you take banana and put it under pressure, it will not bring out mango. It will bring out a messy banana. So when you're under pressure, it brings out who you truly are. And you can change who you are by what you put inside, convictions and words you tell yourself before the pressure comes. You don't start thinking of brake at the time of the accident. You need to make sure that your brake is working before you leave home. The same way, things that make up your today are things you developed years back, weeks back, months back, and sometimes days back. So you need to constantly tell yourself how to behave under pressure. You need to program yourself with confidence on how you will react to things. Because whether problems or tribulations will come is not an if, it's a matter of when. The Bible already said they will come. So plan on how to deal with them when they come. Just like a pregnant woman will just tell you suddenly that it's an emergency and that she needs to give birth. How can it be an emergency? You've been pregnant for how many months? And then you now think that the baby is taking you by surprise. Every direction you are heading to, if you take up from where we are now and start heading towards the wall, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you will hit the wall. So when you hit the wall, it's not an emergency. So the same thing, problems will come. If nobody told you, we just said it. So prepare how to handle them when they come.
I think that's just the bottom line there. When you were speaking about a pregnant woman giving birth and stuff, you have a date. You have a date. They give you a date.
And even an estimated date.
Estimated date. But emergencies do come.
Yes.
How prepared are you?
And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because it will surely come.
It either comes 2 weeks or but it comes.
Yes.
It comes. I think people should understand that they need, even in that pressure, look at the pleasure inside of the pressure. And
even the lessons and the glory that comes after. For every scar you have on your leg eventually becomes a star and a badge. You know that those who went for war, the Vietnam War, they like to show off their scars as a proof of authenticity that they actually fought in the Vietnam War. And they are veterans, and we respect and celebrate them every day. So every level you cross is actually a challenge for you to authenticate that you've been through it. You know, if you don't have a testimony, you don't have a story. That's why you see a lot of men of God can sit back. They're not telling you their story because they want you to clap for them. No, they want you to know that even them, they've been through things. They've been through things even worse than you're going through. And the good part of the good news of that story is that yes, eventually you're going to get through that. Where you are now, even that will pass, and you will celebrate it and tell your own story someday.
And you will get through it. That is a guarantee. You will get through it. And we said all of this to say that you need to be obedient. You need to have integrity and be obedient at all times, because integrity And obedience beats lies all
the
the
time.
time.
And it
You
is
can't go
better
wrong.
than sacrifice.
You can't go wrong. You absolutely cannot go wrong. So we need to try and be guided. We need to be able to try and respect ourselves, respect our surroundings, respect people around us. And be diligent in the smallest of things.
Remember, if you don't conquer your prison, you might never get to your palace.
I like that. And anybody wants to get to the palace,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to go through the process. Nobody feels the need to understand the process. There's a process. You need to follow it. You need to. You can't just wake up one morning and say, but you know, the nicest thing is that I always say when people get born again today, things start. Have you noticed? If somebody gets born again, the next day things start happening, and somebody will sit there and say, oh, but I've been serving God for a very long time. You know, we like pity parties. We're always a me people. We always want things to happen to me. That sometimes when people are not in one accord and something good happens to somebody else, then they start questioning God, they start questioning themselves because they don't understand who they are in Christ. So that question always comes back, but how come? I've been serving in church, I've been sweeping the church, I've been doing this, I've been doing this. You don't remember how you were gossiping in that very same church that you cleaned.
Yeah. You see, I say this about a lot of pensioners. A lot of people work in the civil service and they did not give it their best. A lot of people worked and they swapped and cheated, and that is why we are where we are today. Because a lot of people did not do the right things, even though they started it small. But now the people today have learned from them and have mastered it, and it has become a den of thieves. When you don't get your pension, you complain. But believe me, those who did their work well, if the government doesn't pay your pension, God will raise people who will do, because there is a reward for everything, and it doesn't matter once you do it and you did your diligent work. There are a lot of pensioners who are not suffering at all because they did their work well, and God is going to reward them. And I tell people that do your work well. If your boss doesn't pay you, somebody will see how working you are and will take you from your boss and pay you much better. So don't say because your boss is paying you peanuts, you have to do the work of peanuts. No, do your work at the level you want to be treated. Even if it is better than you are being paid, do it, master it well. Someday, I know people who eventually employ their bosses because they got better, they saw the future, they migrated to an aspect where their boss couldn't, and times changed, and their boss was still in his old place where things were not, have migrated to something else, and had to live there to survive, had to go and work for his employee.
Leaders are following, a follower is a leader.
Yes.
Wow.
So do things well, and you'll be shocked that someday those you were leading, those you were following, will start following
you. You know, when you were speaking now, something just popped into my mind. In terms of, oh God, Holy Spirit, just help me. In terms of the reward, you said something about having a reward. You know, there's a difference between a pat on the back and a reward. Because most times we do things because we want eye service, we want to impress people and stuff, and not realizing that, people say, oh, well done. If you don't say well done to people, they get discouraged, right?
So many.
And I just wanted to talk about the difference between a reward and a pat on the back. Because that's what we expect on every day. The little slightest thing you do, oh, well done. Oh, they want everybody to be fussing over them. If you contribute the most in church, everybody should respect you. Whatever you say should go. Come on, wake up.
And even the Bible said that God that rewards that sees what you do in the secret will reward you in the open.
Openly.
So, but if man has already rewarded you by saying thank you, sometimes you've already lost the reward that he's going to get. I know a lot of workers who like to do eye service when their bosses are around, but you don't know that your boss also has an invisible boss who sees your heart
and knows it all.
A lot of you are also stuck and complaining on why you're not progressing. You see, you cannot break the principles. If you sow diligently, you will reap bountifully. And it's not just in church, but even in your workplace. Even to that your unbelieving boss, that you think is an unbeliever, the principle of work is buried. And the Bible said that the rain falls both for the just and the unjust.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. Once you obey his principles, you will be rewarded
handsomely.
So that's the much we can take on this episode of Good Morning, My People. We're going to be back again, same time, same channel, to continue our expose on the story of Joseph. I hope you've had a nice time today. Remember to share, like, and give us a shout out. Let's know where you're watching from, where you're calling us from, and share your message under this video, and we'll love to hear from you and get back to you. Remember, it's a beautiful day. Rise up and shine.
Shine, for the light has come and the glory of God has risen upon you. And please don't forget, we want to celebrate with you. If it's your birthday, if it's your wedding anniversary, anything worth celebrating, please let us know so that we can also give you the expose and we can do a lovely shout out for you, because we care. Most importantly, we love you. God bless you. We cover each and every one of you with the precious blood of Jesus this morning. Go and be the best that you can.
Amen.
Bye.